have such a wonderful treat today. Karen Judd has been part of our community for several years, living close by or close enough by that we've gotten to see her in person a few times, but usually on Zoom. And so a lot of folks at New Thought Philadelphia might be surprised to hear that her title, one of them, is Reverend Karen Judd. Her healing ministry is the culmination of her ongoing journey of self-discovery and self-healing through formal education and healing therapies. A couple of things. She's an Interfaith Seminary ordained minister. She has hospice education training. She's got an MS in clinical social work. She's a Reiki master. She does psychodrama and is just wonderful all around. And she is the gift to share today about the banquet of life. So please join me in welcoming Karen Judd.
I'm so grateful to be with you all this morning and to be in the role of speaker. So thank you. Before us all is this amazing banquet of life with choices of adventures, experiences, relationships that we can learn from. And to this banquet of life, we bring ourselves, our unique light. Well, a few months ago, I was in the process of reading the book, The Dream, The Journey, Eternity, and God by Sarah Landon and Michael Dooley. And the following words I'm going to read to you inspired me to be in the pulpit after 4 years. And I emailed Reverend Bill and I go, Reverend Bill, I'd like to be, what do you think? And here we are. So those words that really moved me are the following. This is the time for embodying the enlightened master that you are, staying in physical form and creating your life the way you want it to be, living your life the fullest and living your highest potential. This is the most important thing you can do to serve at this time, to live fully, love fully, and be all that you are. Now, I'm imagining in your internal dialogue, something like this may be going on. And that is like, isn't that the darn truth? Look at what's going on in this world. Our democracy is in jeopardy. Wars in Ukraine and Israel and Gaza. And the time is now to change, to be that change in the world you want to see. All right, okay, I inserted a little Gandhi, but it works. The words to live fully, love fully, yeah. Be all that you are, yeah. I so believe that. I want to strive, I want to be living life fully and loving fully, but that's what happens. Those buts come in. And I'd like to share this marble mouth here, this short story written by Dan Millman, who is the author of the book you may have heard of, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And this little short story is called Sachi. Soon after her brother was born, little Sachi began to ask her parents to leave her alone with the new baby. They worried that, like most 4-year-olds, she might feel jealous and want to hit or shake him, so they said no. But she showed no signs of jealousy, and she treated the baby with kindness, and her pleas to be left alone with him became more urgent. They decided to allow it. Elated, she went to the baby's room, shut the door, but it opened a crack, enough for her curious parents to peek in and listen. There they saw little Sachi walk quietly up to her baby brother, put her face close to his, and say quietly, "Baby, tell me what God feels like. I'm starting to forget." Those words, tell me what God feels like. I'm starting to forget. Coming to the earth plane, our soul gets cocooned into a human body, and we forget what God feels like. We take upon these agreed upon illusions that we are separate from one another. And God is something up there, out there, that judges us, criticizes us, and determines our ultimate vacation destiny, whether it be a paradise resort, a gruesome inferno, or a nondescript limbo. These and other beliefs given to us from our first teachers, our family of origin, followed by our teachers in the community. They're all there. And each one of those teachers doing the best that they can with what they know, believe, feel, and perceive at the time. Each one giving and sharing what they had learned through their life experiences. Well, being here at Earth School, I've learned to pay attention to when I have a strong reaction to something. So many years ago, watching the movie Out on a Limb, based on the book by Shirley MacLaine by the same title, there are scenes in there about reincarnation, and yeah, that makes sense to me. And then there's scenes in there about extraterrestrials giving wisdom to a human being, and go, that's cool. And then comes the scene, she's out on Malibu Beach with her spiritual advisor, and he's saying, place out your arms and follow me in saying these words, I am God, I am God. Well, at that point, my internal dialogue goes into overdrive. I'm going, whoa, this is blasphemous, grandiose, and egotistical. Pay attention, Karen, pay attention. So up to this point in my spiritual journey, I had grown out of the concept of the Baltimore Catechism and had been learning new ideas and concepts through the Unitarian Universalist beliefs. I learned I had a little light to shine, and there were 7 principles to guide my daily living. The 2 that resonated with the strongest at that point in time were principle number 3, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregation, and number 4, affirming and promoting free and responsible search for truth and meaning. These principles, the 10 Commandments, the Golden Rule, the Serenity Prayer, I had a moral compass. Okay, so I have this light, I have a moral compass, and the question for me to answer became who or what, participating in conferences at the Association for Research and Enlightenment, I learned that it's through meditation and our intuition, our means by which God communicates to us. Reading the book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, this inspired me to seek out Religious Science Centers for Spiritual Living. At that time, there were none available in Connecticut, but under the same New Thought umbrella was a Unity Church. So there at Unity, I learned about the Christ consciousness, which reconnected me with my childhood desire of wanting to be like Jesus, helping others to heal through their pain and suffering. Finding out there was a Center for Spiritual Living forming in Connecticut, I checked it out. And my understanding of what God is expanded, learning that I am a co-creator with God and that God is everywhere, everything, knows everything, and is all powerful. It, the ultimate creator, I learned, is energy and void of gender. Now, having the clarity as to what God is and learned the tools of that tool of affirmative prayer, or as a means of a method to co-create with God in a conscious way, I was good to go. Being a member of New Thought Philadelphia, my concept of God remains the same. God is this creative energy that flows through each of us and responds with a yes and in response to our prayers. And over the years has just, and with that belief, embodied belief, my light shines brighter. I have been blessed over the years to be part of these spiritual communities of fellow seekers, helping one another to identify and value our authentic lights and to grow and to expand. And to borrow the line from Ram Dass, we are all walking each other home. Now, going back to that concept of forgetting, in the process of forgetting, there is disconnection. My spiritual and therapeutic journey has been one of learning to reconnect with my heart, with the feelings and intuition, and then with my body. Learning to reparent myself as to it's okay to speak without needing another's permission. It's okay to feel and to allow the feelings to guide and yet not control my life. It's okay to trust myself, to trust others and the divine. And the two modalities that help with this reconnective process are psychodrama and Reiki. And what directed me to both of those modalities was my intuition. So in addition to forgetting, it is believing in these untruths that strengthen those buts and impedes us from sharing our unique lights. That facet of the divine that is within each one of us, cocooned in our bodies. This brings me to the second short story that I'd like to share with you, entitled The Two Monks, by Irmgard Schergel, from her book, The Wisdom of the Zen Masters. Two monks on a pilgrimage came to the ford of a river. There they saw a girl dressed in all her finery, obviously not knowing what to do since the river was high and she did not want to spoil her clothes. Without much more ado, one of the monks took her on his back, carried her across, and put her down on the dry ground on the other side. Then the monks continued on their way. But another monk, after an hour, started complaining. Surely it's not right to touch a woman. It's against all the commandments to have close contact with women. How could you go against the rules of the monks? Now, the monk who carried the girl walked along silently, and he finally remarked, I set her down by the river an hour ago. Why are you still carrying her? What conscious and unconscious thoughts and beliefs are you still carrying around with you that keep your light under a bushel, or still covered with dirt or film, or it's getting in the way of you adding the polishing touches so you can shine even more brightly in life's banquet? Ernest Holmes' book, This Thing Called You, is very helpful in coming to the understanding that we are amazing lights, an expression of that one, the divine, that it by many names. We get clues to those thoughts and beliefs operating in our life by what is being mirrored back to us. By being more awake, self-aware of our behavior, thoughts, and feelings, viewed through the lens of self-compassion and kindness, allows us to mitigate the suffering and to shine our light more brightly. I've found that Buddhist writings are very helpful in this area, especially books. A book by Thich Nhat Hanh, The Miracles of Mindfulness, and books by Pema Chodron, the places that scare you, and when things fall apart. With the embodiment of how I understand God and being a co-creator with God, this ultimate creator, great spirit, universal energy source, it by many names, I experience it through all kinds of beauty that surrounds me, immersing myself in meditation, singing, improvisational acting, writing, baking for others, receiving or giving a hug, giving and receiving kind, compassionate, encouraging words, hearing music that touches my soul, seeing paintings and movies and plays that move me, hiking a trail, viewing the night sky, or seeing images of the galaxies and fishes swimming deep in the ocean, that sense of awe. Looking into my dog Cavi's eyes and hugging her, I feel such unconditional love. Gratitude floods my heart, warms my body, and brings a smile to my face, for I am experiencing what God feels like. To help you embody this talk today, I now invite you to close your eyes and to imagine yourself standing before a banquet table that extends beyond what your eyes can see. And on this table are dishes filled with all kinds of adventures, relationships, sensual delights, and beauty. Take a moment to look. What appeals to you? What are you hungry for? What do you want to sample? And to this banquet of life, you bring your unique light. What is your unique light bringing and offering to the banquet of life? In your mind's eye, I invite you now to take a photo of those images, words that came to you. And I invite you to take that photo you just took and place it onto your cloud file to be downloaded at any time that you wish to retrieve it. Now slowly open your eyes and bring your attention back to the Zoom gathering. In conclusion, I leave you with these words of Reverend Patrick Pollard, who was the founder and spiritual director of the Connecticut Center for Spiritual Living. Love is all there is, and the rest we make up. And so I say, so it is, and amen.